Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? First, let me get rid of the. Come on, come on. Doing that. There we go. There. Get rid of that sign. Okay. Get over here and the number up there. So we got 4 watching so far, and looking at it, we got Phelan Clan Wolf, Crew 1351, Lee Argent, and somebody else out there. Hey. And I can tell already. I just switched glasses. And I need to clean these, so bear with me a second. Part of your preps, if you wear glasses, get some lens wipes. I like the ones from that they have over at Walmart. Yeah, I know. But you get it's a 100-pack, and they're relatively inexpensive, and they're the material's good. The material doesn't scratch the lenses. It's got a good amount of alcohol on it, so it gets all the oils and stuff off of the lenses. And let's see this on here. So a little bit more on there. Need to get in there and get rid of that. That side looks good. That side there looks good. And oh, I can see. Oh, wow, amazing. All right. For those of you that didn't catch it last night, I was interviewed by Pam at Lampus Creek Homestead, and we went about 2.5 hours, and she wants me to come back next Wednesday, so we're going to have part 2 next Wednesday, and we're going to get into a little more in-depth prepping things that people do need to start off with prepping, how to do it. We're going to talk a little bit about budget then too, and some other things, and get the goop out of my eyes. Yeah, the humidity level in here. Hang on, let me look at it because I just changed this thing around here. There we go. Okay, we're down to 35. Last night I forgot to add water to the things I have over the heater vents to get it up, and it dried out a little bit. So, alrighty. And I froze it. So let's get this thing up. We're gonna have some. I'm gonna have to name some of the ones I already got scheduled, because I don't think I'm going to get to complete chapter 15 today. I didn't get nearly as far as I wanted to yesterday on chapter 13. I'll be lucky if I get through 14 today. So I'm going to have to renumber them all again. But I went several days without having to renumber them, so we'll be doing good. Let me put me up in that corner and bring up the thing. There we go. All right. So this is where I left last time. Let me go ahead and unhighlight that. Come on. No color. There we go. All righty. What was going on here is Michael and Kimberly suggested to their parents that, or rather, told their parents, we need to get some training in, with the firearms we've purchased. We have skills with bows and arrows and knives and stuff, but when it comes to firearms, we need training, a lot of training. And so they went to T9 Tactical down there in Tempe and signed up for classes and spent all day Friday in classes, and it's Saturday. They're starting to do classes again. And at lunchtime, they were doing a meet and greet with all their fans who, they're exploding on social media. and they had a lot of things there. And one of their first fans that recognized them at the day before, April told Kimberly she needs to talk to her, important, but had some problems. They went to a classroom, and April brought this boy with her, Peter, and confessed to Michael and Kimberly that they have a problem. She thinks she may be pregnant because they've been having sex. So that's where we're at right now. And so we'll pick up the last thing was asked what Michael asked how old they are. April said she was turned 16 last month. Peter said he turned 16 last week. Yes, kids do stupid things. Adults do stupid things. Anyways, and he goes, well, I think our parents might be able to offer better advice. Now, I'm dumb in this, but why do you think you're pregnant? Michael asked. I missed my period last week. April started sobbing. I'm so ashamed of myself. Peter spoke hurriedly. It's my fault, not yours. I should have controlled myself. No, I seduced you. I wanted you to. Why do you think I was so willing to do whatever you wanted? Kimberly leaned closer to April and wrapped her arm around April's shoulders and placed her cheek on April's head. I have missed many periods. You have to have faith that everything will be all right. Have you gotten a pregnancy test kit? No, I'm afraid to. Kimberly looked over her shoulder at her mother, who was standing in the doorway. Mom, can you? I'll go get one now, Monica said from the doorway. Thanks, Mom. Benjamin came all the way in and walked around, sat next to Peter, and put his hand on his shoulder. Scary stuff. Oh, this is scary stuff. How did you do all that? I heard your story, but what did you do when you found out? I still loved her, and I stood by her. I cried myself to sleep many nights at the loss of my child, the child I never knew about until it was too late. I blame myself for her feeling afraid and for her going to get an abortion. I blame myself for not telling her how much I loved her and I would go through hell for her and for not being there for her. Peter looked at Benjamin, saw tears and sorrows in his eye, and he looked back at April and saw fear in her eyes. Then he looked at Michael and saw strength and concern in his. He looked back at April again. April, I love you. Don't be afraid. I will stand by you forever. Oh, Peter, April said, I know you care for me. No, I love you, Peter dropped to his knees. Whether you're pregnant or not, will you marry me? What? Peter, no. I don't want to marry you just because want you to marry me just because I might be pregnant, but I love you. I love you too, but we shouldn't jump into marriage. Look at Michael. How long did you guys date before you got engaged? Ours is a weird story. A very weird story, Kimberly said. Hang on, let me highlight that one. A very weird story. We had been wanting to ask each other out for years. I was told that he was so prim and proper that he wouldn't go out with a girl that asked him out. And that he felt that it was the boy's duty to do the asking. And I was told that she had a boyfriend and that she was in a deep relationship with. So I never asked her out. Both of us were lied to, Michael added. The first time we talked was September 19th. Last year? April asked. No, 2 weeks ago. What? April exclaimed. April, we've been yearning to go out with each other for over 3. Actually, it was 4 years. For 4 years. That made a typo. For 4 years. My mom said we fell in love at first talk. That was after years of wanting to date. We're not going to get married for almost 2 years. Peter, Michael interjected. You don't have to get married right away. Peter smiled, looking at April's eyes. Will you marry me in 26 months? Yes, but what if I'm pregnant? Still in 26 months. Then yes, I will. But we can't tell my dad that we're planning to get married. Even if I'm not pregnant, he'll kill us both. And he won't kill you, and he won't if you are pregnant. Well, not me until the baby is born. I have to worry and hope that he has softened his feelings. Oh, he'll just kill me. Uh, Peter shrugged his shoulders. Oh, well, I guess you're worth it. What? April exclaimed in disbelief. Just like that, you're going to give up? No, I'll proudly stand. I'll stand proudly for you. And if he says I need to be punished, I'll take it for you. Really? Yes, I will. Then afterwards, I'll cry like a baby. He sheepishly smiled. You bet you will, said a very big man that stood in the doorway. Dad, April gasped, what are you doing here? Your mother asked me to meet you guys for lunch. Where's Mom? She went with Mrs. Jackson to get something. Get something that I'm assuming is a pregnancy test. Yes, sir, Peter said. Don't say a word, April said, pointed at Peter. Sir, Kimberly said quietly, would you please sit with us so we can talk in an adult manner? And who are you? Dad, this is my friend Kimberly Jackson. She's also known as the real-life Juby Chan, the ninja girl. Kimberly stood slowly and turned to face April's father. He flinched in surprise when he saw her eye patch. You're the one in the videos April watches, the one that beats up all those guys. Yes, sir. Please join us at the table. She turned and nudged Michael over a chair and sat down in his. Dad? He looked down there. He looked down at April. April. That makes more sense. Please, I need your love. Suddenly the man dropped to his knee and hugged April. Oh, April, I love you so much. Then please listen and don't hate me for this. For what? He leaned away from her and looked into her eyes. I seduced Peter. I'm older. I seduced him to having sex with me. I threw myself at him. Please forgive me. I'm so scared. I have my friend's support, but I need my father's support. He hugged her again. You have it. A loud electric whine grew louder in the hallway and then came through the door. Hi, I hope I'm not intruding, but I felt I needed to express some of my thoughts to you. First of all, you need to know that all the rooms can be monitored from my dad's office. And I was watching you in the store when you came in here. I couldn't help myself, and I had to listen in. She moved her electric chair around to the other side of April. You know, I would give anything to be pregnant. I would be overjoyed. She paused. Okay, I might be a little scared too, but I'd be happy to have a boy sleep with me. She smiled. I think my dad might come around if that happened. Then she looked at Kimberly. Anyways, Kimberly, you're my hero. I pulled every video I could find on InstaFace, YouTube, and elsewhere of you at martial arts and archery competitions. Did you know there are over 185 videos? Kimberly straightened in surprise. She moved the wheelchair 45 videos since last Wednesday when I found a video of you and Kimberly at the Venture Crew meeting. She snorted a slight chuckle. I was so pissed at you for shooting at her until she kissed you. You never miss, huh? I hit exactly where I was supposed to, but that's after years of practice. Exactly where I wanted him to, Kimberly said as she held her hand up just slightly off to the side of her head. You aimed to miss her so she could catch the arrows. Wow. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to risk her. Did you ever shoot at her? I mean, let me change that, highlight that. Did you ever shoot at her? A couple times in practice, because she wanted me to. There we go. But that was a bow with set to 15-pound draw and at half pull. but it looked phony, so I had him increase the speed. Kimberly added. So Peter, you want to marry April? The girl in the wheelchair asked. Even if she's not pregnant? Yes. Even if she is pregnant? Yes, of course. Why 26 months? We'll both be over 18 by then. Even if she is 20, even if she is pregnant, you said 26 months. Why wait if she's pregnant? Do you want your kid to be born out of wedlock? No, but I want them to know we didn't get married because April was pregnant. I wanted that would. Hang on. I want them. I want them to know that we got married because we wanted to, because we love each other. Nice. I like it. She turned her wheel towards Benjamin. Did you have any other foster boys even close to being as considered as Michael? A couple, but they're already married. Damn. Penny Marquis, Mr. Marquis barked from the doorway. Watch your language. Oh, give it a break, Dad, Penny said and rolled her eyes. He thinks I'm going to break at the slightest thing, a bad word, somebody sneezing, a kiss from a boy. That's not true. I just want you to be a proper lady for when the right young man comes along. Penny spun her chair around. Dad, April's family is having a crisis because she might be pregnant. I would give anything to trade places with them and be pregnant. Please lighten up. Mr. Marquis sighed. I would give my legs for you to find the right boy that wants to be with you forever. But that's not going to happen unless you're the type of person inside that a boy wants to be with. A girl that uses foul language isn't going to get a faithful boy. That's true, Michael said. Yeah, I haven't heard April ever use a bad word, Peter said. Penny's lower lip curled out. Ah! She growled and crossed her arms. Penny, why won't we go have lunch like your dad wanted? I guess. Okay, I guess so. She turned the wheelchair and headed for the door. She stopped next to April. Hang in there. Remember, it could be worse. You could be in a wheelchair and pregnant by a boy who didn't love you. She smiled and looked at Peter. Stay nice and love her always. Then she looked at April's father. Sir, please cut him a break. No matter what, they both need your support. They both, highlight that. They both need your support. Penny continued on to the door. Thank you for getting the pizza, Dad. My pleasure, Pumpkin. He followed her out. Kimberly started to get up and stop. April, even if you are pregnant, don't despair. Look for the silver lining. Things are going downhill fast. Things were going downhill fast for me, and I found my silver lining in Michael. She looked at April's father. Sir, Peter seems to be a really nice boy. He's trying to do the right thing. Don't hold that against him. He's scared too. Michael stopped at April's father. Sir, the only words I can give are. He raised a bunch of foster kids and did a great job. Benjamin reached across the table with an open hand. Benjamin Clark, Michael's adopted father and Kimberly's future father-in-law. Stephen Charter, the big man, responded and shook Benjamin's hand. Scared father, and he chuckled. Great dad, April added. In Mr. Marquis' office, Penny had wheeled Mr. Marquis' office. Penny had wheeled her chair around by the console where the CCTV cameras monitors were and backed up to it. In the middle of the room was a 5-foot round table with 3 chairs pulled up to it. Mr. Marquis' desk was against the wall next to where the CCTV monitors were. He sat down in his chair and spun it around to the table. Besides the 3 chairs at the table, there are several more chairs against the wall that the door was on. There were 2 boxes of pizza, along with a stack of paper plates and a pile of napkins, and a small ice chest sat on one of the chairs with an assortment of sodas in it. Go ahead and dig in. We don't. Got to capitalize that. We don't stand on ceremony here, Mr. Marquis said. Thank you, Mr. Marquis. Kimberly said as she got a plate and a slice of cheese as a cheese pizza. Please call me Philip. Okay, Philip, Michael said. Sorry about the problem with April. Michael took one cheese and 1 ham and pineapple slices. April's a good kid. She's been coming here for okay. April's a good kid. She's been coming here for 2 years now with her mother, father, and younger brother, Philip said. So, Penny, Kimberly spoke directly. What are your limitations? Wow, you don't hold back, Penny said. Do you want me to hold back? No, I like it. Penny smiled. See, Dad, I told you she was super cool. Philip just nodded. I can't feel anything from my knees down all of the time. And part of the time, I can feel from my mid-thigh down to my knees. That's when I can move the muscles in my thigh to straighten out my leg. What happened? I was 7. When I was 7, hang on. Yeah. When I was 7, a drunk driver hit our car. He killed my mom and did this to me. He got off because he wasn't in control of his actions. All he had to do was to stop drinking. That's not right, Kimberly fumed. Yeah, but he's lost 4 jobs and his wife finally left him. He's about to lose another job. Penny smiled sinisterly. What did you do? I used the internet to inform his bosses and coworkers about what he did and that he is not allowed to drink. And when I catch him on some webcams or someone's post with a picture of him drinking, even in the background, I send it to them and say, how can you trust a man who won't obey the law? After the 3rd time, he usually gets fired. That's not right either, Penny. It's not as wrong as what he did. Hang on, let me add something here. To us. But it's not as wrong as what he did to us. When he stops drinking, I'll stop ratting him out. Penny, you should spend your time improving yourself and looking for a boy that'll see the inner you, Kimberly offered. I agree. Hang on. Got in the wrong spot. There we go. I agree, Michael said. How old are you? 15 and a half. Join a venture crew, Michael said, as if that could solve all or most of Penny's problems. A what? Philip asked. A venture crew, Dad. Penny sighed. It's part of the Boy Scouts but co-ed. They are boys and girls ages 14 to the 21st birthday. They do all sorts of stuff, including camping, horseback riding, and rafting, Michael explained. Philexclaimed. But she's in a wheelchair, Philip exclaimed. So? There's a crew in Chandler that has 2 blind girls in it, and they do just fine. Everyone works together, including the blind girls. There's one in Phoenix that has a boy that is a quadriplegic. The president of the crew says he's the best thing that happened to their crew. They work together more and harder to be the best. It's amazing what they do. Wow, Penny said. Can you find me a crew to join? My crew would love to have you join them. Wait a minute, Phil interrupted. You can't do that stuff. You'll get hurt. No, she won't. Well, not much. C-H-A, Michael smiled, S-M-I-L, smiled. What? She'll probably burn her fingers on a hot pot or a frying pan. She'll get splinters from firewood. She'll swallow water, learning to swim, and doing water rafting. But of course, blisters on her fingers, learning to shoot arrows. Ah, cool, Penny said. I can live with that. I can't. Philip said. Why? Penny pleaded. Hold on a second. Philip, why don't you why don't you go with her to a couple meetings and maybe an activity or two before you say no? I think you'll be surprised. Have you taught Penny to shoot any guns? Kimberly suddenly interjected. No. Why not? I don't know. Penny be asked to learn to shoot. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Can I? Sure you can. There's lots of shooters in wheelchairs. Google it. That's okay. She can learn to shoot. I have no problem with that. Philip interjected. There we go. How about learning archery? No, not that either. That doesn't sound right. I know what it means. You guys probably know what it means, but it just doesn't sound like. Okay, she can learn that. Penny smiled. Thanks, Dad. Now I can have some fun. Philip, Kimberly said, if you don't mind, I'd like to go. If you don't mind, I'd like to go see how April's doing. Not at all. I don't mind at all. Penny, why don't you take them the rest of the pizza? Okay, Dad. When they got back to the classroom, they found Benjamin, Monica, Stephen Charter, and Peter sitting around one of the tables. Where's April? She and her mom are in the restroom doing the test, Monica answered. Stephen was wringing his hand. Benjamin was sitting next to Peter with his hand on Peter's shoulder. Penny rolled her wheelchair up to the table and put the 2 boxes pizza on it and looked at Peter. Hey, it'll work out no matter what the test says. If you two really love each other. Just then, April and her mom came into the room. April sat in her chair again and set the test on the table. What does it say? Peter asked. We still have to wait 3 minutes, April answered in a quivering voice. Kimberly walked around behind April and bent over and hugged her and whispered in her ear, be strong like a ninja. April clasped Kimberly's arms tightly and nodded as the baseline seemed to darken in the of the test unit. With 1 minute to go, April picked up the test unit and stared hard at it. Then after a minute, she dropped one hand to her belly and shook her head slightly. I'm not pregnant, she spoke softly. April's parents looked at her with a strange. April's parents looked at the strange expression on her face. You seem disappointed, Kimberly said. Now you want to be pregnant? April's bobbed her head up and down. Yeah, Dad was being so supportive and Mom wasn't mad. It was kind of nice to have them loving me so much. I felt so safe. Oh, honey, we still love you, her mom said. I know, but now, she paused and looked at Peter. I'm afraid I will lose Peter. No way, Peter exclaimed. I will be here forever. We'll just have to get pregnant in 2 years. What? April mom shouted and covered her mouth. Hey, April, you and Peter are supposed to get married in 26 months, remember? You need to get your mom to work working on planning it for you, Penny said with a smile. You didn't tell me that, her mom exclaimed. I kind of had something else on my mind. April wiggled the test unit. Well, a 2-year engagement is tough. No more sex until you're married, Stephen said forcefully. Yes, sir. If Kimberly and Michael can do it, so can we. April's mom looked at Monica. Are you all right with your daughter's plan? I'm thrilled. If they can wait 22 months, well, that proves how much they really love each other, especially since they turned 18 in 6 months. And they'll wait another 16 months to get married just to prove me wrong. There is such a thing as love at first talk. April's mom nodded and patted April's arm. At the next class, Penny joined Kimberly and Michael along with several of the boys and girls that had been getting autographs and several of their parents. The parents were more interested to see what sort of example Michael and Kimberly were setting for their children than they were in taking the firearm safety course for themselves. The parents and children surprised to find out this was the third time Michael and Kimberly were taking the course in as many days. They were even more surprised when they commented that they had missed some pieces of information in the other classes, especially when they saw the detailed notes that Michael and Kimberly took. Sunday, October 4th. Michael and Kimberly finished their morning run and workout. Were heading to the house to take their showers when Monica heading into the house to take their showers when Monica greeted them at the door. Hey guys, Benjamin and I are going to go to a couple more gold and silver exchanges before we head up to the cabin to drop off supplies. But Benjamin was also thinking of grabbing some exercise equipment to turn one of the containers into a gym. And, well, what do you think we should get? We? Kimberly asked hopefully. Are you going to come to the cabin instead of Jake's? Not right away, she sighed. Maybe next fall if I can't get a garden producing enough food and an orchard going. Then we'll move to the cabin. But if everything settles down after the asteroid passes, I was thinking about buying some property up there, but only after things settle down and I get another place down here. Okay, Kimberly groused. Michael walked over to Kimberly's laptop and opened her email and scrolled through looking for one from him. Here we go. He opened the attachment, hit print. Benjamin was on the phone when he walked in the room. Okay, we'll do that. I love you. Bye. How's Mom? She's turned into Farmer Janet. She wants us to bring a load of assorted fruit trees in the 3-foot wooden tubs. She dug 20 holes and some more tomorrow. Michael's eyebrows went up. Well, if we put the exercise equipment in the back of the trucks, we can fit 8 tubs in the dump trailer and 10 in Monica's eyebrows went up, not Michael's. Monica's, blah, blah. We can fit 10 in my trailer today and go and do another load tomorrow. That should be all we need. With all the 10-gallon trees we have in the garage to plant in the spring, we'll have plenty of fruit to can dehydrate for we will have plenty of fruit to can and dehydrate for the whole year by the time we get married, Michael said. Well, you should go to Moon Valley Nurseries. They open in about 10 minutes, Kimberly said. We'll shower, then go to Walmart and get some of the exercise equipment. We'll get more equipment later today from the wholesalers and transfer them to your truck tonight. Sounds like a plan, Benjamin said. When Michael and Kimberly came off the range to go change for their demonstration, they were surprised to find Jason standing there with a little girl at his side. Jason bowed. Master, I need your help. Why'd you call her Master? You were trying to beat her up yesterday, the girl asked Jason. When Jason stood back up, Kimberly could see the black eye starting to darken. What happened to your eye? I hit him because he was trying to beat you up. No, he wasn't. He was helping me. But he tried to beat you up at the match. Yes, he did. And he learned his lesson and he apologized. I accepted his apology and we're friends now. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. I thought you were being mean again. Jason knelt down. Debbie, I'm trying hard never to be mean like that again. I learned my lesson. Okay. Are you going to stay for the demonstration? Michael asked. Please, Debbie pleaded. Sure. Jason rubbed her hair. Then he looked at Kimberly. Oh, I switched dojos. I'm going to yours. Why? The instructor at my old one didn't like that we had become friends. He was being a bit of a jerk about it, so I left. Several others did too. Well, we have to go change for the demonstration. It's on the rifle range. Tell them you're here to help. Okay, Jason smiled and led his sister off. See, we're not injuries. I'm going to help her again. Besides, I can't beat her up. She's too good. Philip then opened the range up and instructed everyone to stand on either side of the range. Down by the backstop, 2 wooden planks, the two wooden planks with the red circles on them were standing up against a couple of were standing up, and a couple of 4 by 12 blocks were laying on the floor between them. When Michael entered the range, Jason was in front of the planks doing some kicks and punches and talking about different disciplines, whether it was martial arts, shooting, or archery. You had to devote time to each one to become good at it. When Michael walked up to Jason, Jason did a double take. Michael was wearing his Green Arrow outfit. Cool, this is going to be good. Hang on. Jason said just loud enough for Michael to hear. We'll see. Michael replied, and they bowed to each other. Michael picked up one of the blocks and braced himself. Jason keyed the throat mic that Philip had given him. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you the real life Juby Chan, and the Ninja Girl, and Archer, the Super Scout. Penny was sitting at the light controls and turned off all the lights except the ones above Michael and the two planks. Just like at the Venture Crew meeting, an arrow hit the top red circle, hit one of the top red circles dead center. Then another hit the top circle dead center. Hit that. Then another hit the top circle dead center, and then another, and then another. The arrows kept coming about 1 second apart until there were 6 arrows in each of the 2 top red circles. All the while, Kimberly, wearing her ninja outfit, was walking forward from the back of the range as she shot. The only thing that anyone could see was her silhouette or the white of her right eye. When she reached 3/4 of the way to Michael, she flipped the bow around and slipped it over her head and across her back. Then she started throwing knives at the second red circle. She threw 12 knives in rapid succession, 6 with each hand. Then she changed the shurikens and put 4 into the bottom circles. Then she was, when she was 25 feet away, when she threw the last 2 shurikens at the same time with each hand. Then she let out a bird call, ran the last bit towards Michael, did a forward flip, and landing in front of him with her left arm extended, the tip of the finger barely touching the block he held. She held her stance for about 3 seconds, then yelled and curled her fingers into a fist as it drove forward through the block, breaking it in 2 pieces. The crowd broke into applause. Just like at the crew meeting, Michael quickly put the pieces of block down, picked up his bow and arrows, which were laying on the floor between the planks. He quickly walked back to the middle of the range. Again, Jason spoke using the throat mic. May we have the lights on? Penny turned the lights back on. Jason spoke again. Super Scout has earned 66 merit badges and is an Eagle Scout and earned 9 Eagle Palms. He has earned the Denali Award, the highest award in Varsity Scouts. He's also earned the Summit and Ranger Awards, the highest in Venture Scouts. He's won every archery match competition he's entered in the last 3 years, and he won his division at the state archery competition this summer. Then in a deeper voice, like the green arrow, he never misses. Michael turned and quickly fired 8 rapid shots at Kimberly, who alternating hands caught all of them. Kimberly dropped the arrows by her feet, looked at Michael, who had drawn a bowgun, but this time he held 4 arrows nocked. Kimberly took her stance, nodded slightly, and nodded very slightly. Michael shot, and Kimberly caught the arrows, 2 in each hand at the same time. This brought gasps from everyone, especially those that had seen the Venture Crew video. They're expecting only 2 arrows, not 4. Kimberly then turned to that's not. Turned from Michael to face Jason. She did a double backflip and landed in a full splits with her right fist against her left palm. Jason bowed and said, "Master." Then, just like she did at the competition and the crew meeting, she made snake-like movements with her hands and arms as she brought her hands down to her waist, and fist palms up, and using only the muscles of her legs, stood up by pulling them together slowly. Everyone broke out in applause again. Kimberly reached up and took off her Zukin and Fukuman. This brought cheers from the girls and whistles from a few boys. Kimberly looked at Jason. I like your take on the introduction. Michael walked up beside her, put his arm around her, and gave her a gentle squeeze. Kimberly looked up over her right shoulder. This time she turned to face him and pulled his lips down to hers and gave him a long kiss. Great shooting, my super scout, my love, she said again loud enough for everyone to hear. Michael, Kimberly, and Jason faced the audience and face the audience. Like in the crew meeting, they explained that karate, Jeet Kune Do, or any other martial art is beneficial to one's mind and physical health, but it takes time. But it takes time to learn. But as time will find that weapons training for archery and throwing weapons also takes a lot of time to be good as they were. But it's time well spent. Kimberly said that Michael was a much better archer than she was because it was his sole discipline, whereas she had several disciplines and as such had to spread her time out among them. She said she saw Michael do a Robin Hood splitting the arrow shot during practice once, and the only reason he could was the amount of time he spent practicing. Then they addressed gun ownership and responsibility. Before I talk about firearms, I need to put a few things in context. My father was Major James Jackson's United States Marine Corps 4th Forcon. He started training me when I was 4 years old. When I was 7, I started learning Jeet Kune Do, which is the martial art Bruce Lee developed. My master is Diana Lee Inosanto, Bruce Lee's goddaughter. I am a 3rd level instructor of the style. I have studied under several other martial arts instructors as well. Kimberly took a breath and continued. If you've never used a gun, now is not the time to get one, unless you're going to spend at least 3 hours every day at the gun range with an instructor. Kimberly emphasized key words. I was given a handgun by the father of a soldier my father died saving. He said he wanted me to be safe. I'm good at hitting a target. She reached up and patted her bow with this. But I won't use the gun for self-defense until I spend at least 100 hours on the range with an instructor learning how to properly use it. And he says I'm properly trained. That's why I'm here 10 hours a day for 10 days. A lot of people in the audience expressed shock at that part of her statement. Michael stepped forward and asked, how many of you have seen the video of us at the Venture Crew meeting last week? A lot of hands went up. Does anyone have questions about the other topic we discussed at that meeting? Do you really believe the asteroid poses a threat? Someone shouted. Yes, but what type of threat is what you have to decide, Jason interjected. What do you mean? Another asked. Well, is it going to hit the Earth? We don't think so. Will it come close enough to affect the Earth? Possibly. Will it make people do stupid stuff? Oh yeah, and that's what we're worried about, Michael said. Of course, you can believe that nothing bad is going to happen, and I hope you're right, but I doubt it. Remember, even a good person will behave like an idiot. Jason said. Oh, Kimberly paused and looked at Jason. An idiot, Jason said. An idiot when stressed out, she smiled. Remember, anger is the mind killer. Jason finished the phrase and stepped closer to Kimberly. Two Saturdays ago at a karate match, my former teammate fought Kimberly. He went into the match angry, thinking to punish her for daring to compete with a handicap. He gestured to her eye patch, PATCH. Turns out my friend had the handicap, and arrogance and conceit, unjustifiable arrogance. It killed his mind, and he fought lousy and was beaten 12 points to none. I lost my clarity and got mad about what happened to my then teammate and challenged Kimberly in a very disrespectful way to an honor match. In my anger, I showed no honor. He took off his shirt, and everyone gasped at the extensive bruising that still covered his torso. She showed nothing but honor and schooled me in a calm and honorable way. He gestured to his torso. Anger is the mind killer and the body killer too. So don't count on others to behave when they are panicked or other raw emotions set in, like anger or fear. Michael spoke up. A lot of people will be angry if things don't go as smoothly as they think they should. They'll be angry at the government for not taking care of them. Hang on, I need to lowercase that. There we go. They'll be angry at those who prepared for the worst and have things they don't. They'll be angry at themselves for not taking care of their family, and they will take it out on everyone else. So what do you suggest a parent? Calmly get food and camping cooking supplies to shelter at home, Michael said. Or if you have a place out of the city, you can start moving supplies there now so you can get there quickly if it turns unsafe. If it turns that, so you can get there, so you can get out quickly if it gets unsafe for you to stay in the city, Kimberly added. Think of long-term camping. Wet, cold, miserable camping. Even if you have a cabin, trailer, or RV, don't let others know what you're doing. They may come after your supplies. And while there may be strength in numbers, numbers can turn on you if there's a shortage of food. For everyone in for everyone in your group, Michael added. There are 3 books that talk about this SPEC, this specific type of event. They came out last year. They are written by Sheriff Walt Rogers. You can get hardback, paperback, or Kindle versions, Kimberly said as she held a finger up high. The first of the series is Blood Moon Falling. The second is The Dying Winter, and the third is Tawaki Time. If you're going to create a group, make sure that everyone can contribute, Michael said. Like a Boy Scout patrol, troop, team, or crew. Everyone works together and shares responsibilities. No one rides for free. The one thing that history has shown that when there is a large disaster, and people are in need, is the fact that some people will use it as an excuse to take advantage of others. There will be more and more troublemakers that will come out of the cracks as the asteroid gets closer, Kimberly said. Michael picked up when Kimberly stopped. If there are some of you in the audience that are worried about their safety from these troublemakers, then you should choose one thing to do as a family to ready themselves. Whether it's martial arts, archery, becoming proficient in firearms, whatever, then you need to immerse yourself in it. Kimberly spoke in a very serious tone. Yesterday, during our lunchtime meeting, one of our fans asked if we were having sex. No, we are not. We are still virgins and proud of it. We will wait until we get married. And Kimberly and Michael, hang on, looked at each other and answered together 22 months. And several fans shouted out 22 months at the same time. Kimberly added, if you're intimately active, you can stop and promise yourself not to do it again until you're married. Our parents said it was helpful for them. Now, Mr. Philip Marquest, who is the T9 Tactics store manager, would like to say a few words to you, Kimberly said. Philip stepped up next to Kimberly. At the suggestion of Kimberly Jackson, a.k.a. Juby Chan, the Ninja Girl, starting tonight until the asteroid passes, T9 Tactics will be adding night classes for individuals and groups. We will staying open from 8 to 10 offering range time firearm classes and emergency preparedness classes. See Amy at the front desk for flyers and more information. Thank you. Thank you, Philip, Michael said. What are you going to do, Super Scout? Somebody shouted. The same thing that my hot ninja is doing. Taking firearms training here, 10 hours a day. Well, make that 12 hours a day. No, what else are you going to do? Well, Kimberly and I run 10 to 15 miles every morning. And if we start feeling too amorous towards each other, we run and exercise more. Laughs came from the crowd. No, what are you staying in town or leaving? Just going camping next week, Michael smiled. After all, I'm a Boy Scout. Camping is what we do. The crowd laughed. Besides, we should get a nice view up in the mountains away from the city lights. Benjamin and Monica were helping Janet unload the fruit trees and plant them. They had most of them in the ground when a Home Depot truck drove down the driveway. It had 16 more trees in large wooden tubs. Oh, I forgot to tell you, ordered 16 from Home Depot, Janet said, blushing. They went to work unloading the truck so it could leave quickly. Once gone, Benjamin asked if that's all she ordered. That was it. With the trees you brought, we have 32. Now you won't have to get another load of trees tomorrow. However, we need more plywood and insulation foam board, T-posts, and chicken wire. Benjamin pulled out a small pocket notebook and began writing. Anything else? I'll text you if I come up with anything, Janet smiled sweetly. How are the kids doing? Keeping their promise, exercising when they feel they might be slipping, and boy, are they getting buffed. Benjamin said, Michael says I need to start working out with them. Maybe you should, she patted his tummy. They're going to need muscle. They're going to need the muscles when they get here. Oh, have you guys been monitoring the non-traditional websites? No, just what we hear on the radio, Benjamin said. The evacuations are falling behind their goal date. 2 foreign observatories have plotted the asteroid's path as it passing halfway between halfway between the Earth and Moon. And the effects are going to be a lot stronger, Janet informed them. But there's nothing of that reaching their normal news outlets, Monica said. We'll keep an ear open and have the kids search the web for other news. I'll send the links. Keep an ear out and have the kids search websites for other news. I will send the links that I have found to them. Put on here, add. Janet said, all right. All right. Okay, but if you hear anything dire, I'll call everyone. Janet said. Any other thoughts? After one of your trips, we should make a run to the Lowe's and after one of your trips out, we should make a run to the Lowe's in Flagstaff for more plywood, all that we can take. Uh, Monica said. No, Janet said. Janet said, since we have the money and they've delivered here already, have Home Depot deliver bundles of 3/4 inch plywood, 10-foot 2x4s and 2x6s. Also, barbed wire, fence staple, nails, screws, and such. Benjamin suggested. We should have been doing that as soon as we sold the house. You know what? Monday, October 5th. It was just getting light as Benjamin was driving back from Lowe's with 2 pallets of 60-pound sacks of concrete, 2 bundles of 1.125" subfloor, and 3 bundles of foam board insulation, 10 of the 5-gallon paint buckets, and a paint sprayer. And let me think on this. I'm worried about what type of paint sprayer. He was thinking about what else they might need to survive at the cabin when it struck him how much they had there. He was making a mental note on the last few essential items that they didn't have when he saw Michael and Kimberly heading home on the last leg of their trip. He was impressed with the speed of which they were still running, especially with weighted packs. He gave the horn 2 light taps as he approached him from behind. And from behind, when they glanced over his shoulders at him, he saw Kimberly was wearing the pink heart-shaped eye patch that Michael had gotten for her. Benjamin chuckled. Last night, he saw Michael ordering 6 more and had him sent to the post office box they had in the town of Fredonia near the cabin. Kimberly had begun to embrace the whole idea of being Kimberly Jackson, the real life ninja, Juby Chan, the ninja girl. She was wearing the pink eye patch more and more. Now that the governor had ordered all schools closed until after the asteroid passes, there are more teenagers showing up T9 Tactical and in the neighborhood. That was one of the problems with the internet. Anyone could find out where you live if you didn't take precautions. When they had bought the cabin property, they did so under an S-corp, which was set up owned by a living trust. I was going to update this. I forgot to update this. Let me update it, get it right. Land TRU Land Trust that was and TRO controlled by an S corp, which was set up as owned by their living trust. which, okay, so they did it under a land trust that was controlled by an S corp, which was set up as owned by their living trust, which didn't have their names on it on the title, but just listed it as exec, but just but had them listed as paid executors. It would be very hard for them to find out that they own the cabin property. But Monica's home was in her name, and she was listed as Kimberly's mother on her InstaFace page. You would have to remember to tell her to take down the page or change her profile settings so people couldn't find the house so easily. All right. Oh, sounds like my daughter or one of my grandsons are, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I got the youngest grandson watching Big Hero 6 in the living room. All right, hang on. Goodbye again. When he got to the Jackson's home, there were 3 girls and a boy standing on the sidewalk in front. 2 of the girls had handmade signs with pink hearts on them. When he turned on the turn signal, the girls started jumping up and down and waving the signs. He slowed to a stop and rolled down the window. Sorry, kids, they're not with me. The kids' spirits dropped as they moaned. Benjamin shook his head at the mood swings. They're still on their run. They'll be here in about 6 minutes or so. The girls started bouncing again. Benjamin chuckled as he swung out into the street further and then backed into the driveway. He turned the F-450 off and watched the kids crane their necks to see if they could see Michael and Kimberly coming into view. He got out and double-checked the tie-down straps to make sure they hadn't loosened and the load was still secured tightly. When he heard the girls yelling, then he heard the girls yelling when they saw Michael and Kimberly come into view. A couple of minutes later, Michael and Kimberly came running up to the driveway entrance, stopped at the kids. They quickly signed autographs, waved goodbye, and ran up the driveway to the two bottles of Gatorade sitting on the front, by the front of the garage. Kimberly, Benjamin spoke firmly with concern. You need to make some changes to your InstaFace profile today. Kimberly got a panicked look on her face. What's wrong? People are finding out where you live, like those kids this morning. But not all of them are going to be fans. Some will come here while you're doing a scheduled demonstration and steal our stuff. What should I do? Well, you need to remove your mother's information because the house is in her name. Next, you need to post some false information, like saying you just moved to the Levine Village area. Don't be too specific. Just say in that area near South Mountain Park. I'll do that as soon as we finish exercising. Benjamin gave her a really look. Before I take my shower. Is that good enough, Pops? Benjamin couldn't hold a straight face and busted up laughing and turned to go into the house. Pops. Okay, ninja daughter. Kimberly rushed him and threw her arms around him and threw a bear hug on him. What was that for? Calling me daughter. After Michael and Kimberly had showered, Benjamin told him he wanted to go to IHOP for breakfast, so they loaded up in the utility box F-350 and headed off to IHOP. While they were eating, Benjamin noticed two girls with light blonde hair, about 10 or 11, at a table not too far away, pointing slyly and whispering to each other. Kimberly was wearing the pink eye patch again. You have some fans over there. Michael and Kimberly both turned and looked at the girls, whose eyes widened, trying to hide. Go, Benjamin said. Kimberly wiped her mouth and slowly stood up from the table. Don't let him take my plate. Hey, girls, is there something I can do for you? Are you Juby Chan? One of the girls stuttered. Yes. I knew it, the other girl squealed. Can I have your autograph? They said at the same time. Sure, what are your names? I'm Linda. I'm Marcy. Do you have a pen? The father pulled out a pen and handed it to her. How old are you? We're 11. Twins? Kimberly asked because the girls look similar but not alike. Yeah, but not identical. Kimberly wrote on a napkin. To Linda, stay good and study hard. Love, Kimberly Jackson, the real life Juby Chan, the ninja girl. Then she wrote the same thing to Marcy on another napkin. The girls squealed and chatted extensively to their parents as Kimberly walked back to her table. Kimberly sat down and stared at her food. A tear formed in her right eye. What's wrong, baby? Monica asked. It's all the innocent young girls that I've become a hero to, and I can't save them from what's coming. We can try to tell them and their parents to get ready, but at what point do we become lunatics in their eyes or endanger our own safety? Why can't the government tell the truth and warn everybody to get ready? because there would have been mass panic right from the start, and we might have been attacked and killed by now, Monica said. We most likely would not have been able to bump into each other at Harbor Freight, and we would not be counting down to 22 months, Michael said. And we wouldn't be able to get the supplies we needed to keep us alive, and your future children, and your future children. Um, Supplies to keep us alive and your future children with the things they need, Benjamin said. That's cold, Pops, and you wouldn't be calling me Pops. Shit! Kimberly slammed her fist down on her thigh. Ow, that hurt. So what do you want to do? Michael asked, looking intently into her eyes. Kimberly breathed several deep breaths and blew them out. She pushed back her chair and stood up. I have to say something. She turned and walked over to the table of the two girls. Forgive me, but I have to tell you something, she said to the parents. It's about the asteroid and what's not in the mainstream media news. What about it? Several observatories have plotted the asteroid that's going to pass between the Earth and the Moon. Less than halfway between, and it's going to affect the Earth dramatically. When mainstream news finally lets out that news, well, things are going to get very bad. Get a lot of supplies and get out of the city. We're leaving Wednesday. Why are you telling us this? The father asked, getting angry. Because there are too many innocent girls looking up to me as their heroes. I have to try to save some of them. I want to save your daughters. You're serious? The mother asked. Kimberly held out her hand towards the wife's smartphone. The wife hesitated and handed it to her. Kimberly quickly typed in the web address for one of the alternative news sites and brought up the story about the asteroid and handed it back. Read it for yourselves. Just don't take too long to do it, for their sakes. Kimberly turned and went back to her table. I would if they would have listened. Babe, you can't save everyone. Heck, we can barely save ourselves. Just because you know the truth and tell people doesn't word missing there. Just because you know the truth and tell people doesn't mean that they're going to listen. Sometimes they don't want to know the truth, Benjamin explained. Darling, you can't hold yourself responsible for the actions of others, Monica said. You can't make people believe the truth just because you tell them, Michael spoke slowly. We had to show our parents we're in love. Heck, we're still showing them. So how can I show everyone the truth? You can't. You just show those you can. And other sources of the truth, said a voice coming towards Kimberly. She looked up and saw the father from the table. So we've seen the truth and we believe. What do we do now? Shop quickly. He blinked several times and straightened up. Get 1 year's supply. Get 1 year's supplies All right, let me change. I got to change this around. Yeah. Years. Okay. Yeah. Let's look. Supplies. Get at least 1 year's worth of supplies: food, clothing, medicine, water filtration. Do you have that, did that bold up? No, it didn't. It just looks weird on the screen here. Food, clothing, and water filtration. Do you have a travel trailer RV? No, but I have a cargo trailer for our quads. That'll work. What do you have to pull it? A Suburban. Great. Kimberly said, you have a chance. Go to Honeyville Farms and prepared wisely. Get as much long-term food storage as you can. At least 1 year, at least 2 is better, Monica said. Right. And clothes for winter and summer. And for your girls to grow into, Benjamin added. Think camping for 2 years. Do you hunt? Yes, I go with my wife's brother. Good. That means you can get more food from the land. Once you get what you can today, go to T9 Tactics and ask for Amy. Ask her about the classes tonight. You'll find out more there. Do you have a Kindle? Yes. Get the book Blood Moon Falling and read it tonight, Kimberly said. But right now, Michael and I have to get to our firearms training. But my daughters say you're so fast you can catch 4 arrows at once. True, but not bullets. Call in sick and get your supplies. Kimberly and Michael stood and excused themselves and started walking towards the door. They said goodbye to the girls, and as they went by, one of the girls shouted, "You're Archer the Super Scout. You shoot the arrows that Juby catches." But only with lots of practice. Years of practice, Kimberly said. Oh, ow, sorry. Muscle cramping in my back. Ow. Oh, ow. Oh, okay. At lunchtime, Kimberly and Michael went to archery headquarters to get more arrows. Michael wanted to thank Randy for the wedding present he gave Kimberly. He had his own Anita Eagle Phoenix bow in its case and wanted to get some time in on the range when they went on the range. But when they got there, the place was busy. Dang it, Kimberly said. I can't do this again. She yanked off the eye patch and put on the special sunglasses. Then she grabbed Michael's spare boonie hat from the back seat and pulled it down over her head. Chan or Ninja or anything else like that, she grumbled. Don't worry about me. I don't want you to be stressed out. Good. Let's get our bows and see if we can shoot some. They walked into the store and walked over to the main counter, which strangely enough wasn't busy at all. They walked up to the counter and Kimberly recognized Chuck, the salesman that was with her when she rapid shot the 38 arrows in a 4-inch group. Hey, Chuck, is Tina or Randy around? Yeah, they're over there trying to deal with all of the idiot kids hoping to see Juby Kung Fu Girl. That's Juby Chan, the ninja girl, Kimberly hissed. Why would they think that she'd be here? Someone posted on Twitter that she was I need to come up with a different name for Twitter here. You got InstaFace for that one. I know. Now, Control F, 2 results. Twitter. There we go. Okay, got that taken care of. Save. All right, someone posted on Twitter time that she was coming over here to practice. Next thing we know, all of the kids show up. Did you see the post? No, but some of the kids said the hashtag was the real live JubyCon or whatever you said. Kimberly pulled out her phone and opened her Twitter time account and found the thread. She typed in a message. Sorry, guys, I'm going back to T9 Tactics. Too crowded here. And then she tweeted it. About 30 seconds later, she heard the chirps of people getting the tweet. She's outside and she's leaving, one girl said. We're going to miss her, another said. She's heading to T9 Tactics. Where's that? 8475 South Emerald Drive, Michael yelled. That's 8475 South Emerald Drive. As the crowd rushed to leave, one girl who looked to Kimberly to be 13 or 14 stopped in her tracks and looked at Kimberly. She started to open her mouth, but Kimberly quickly held a finger to her lips, and with the other hand pointed to the counter next to her. The girl pulled her mother over and stood at the counter. Then another girl, about 10, stared at Kimberly. Kimberly held a finger to her lips and with the other hand pointed to the counter next to where the other girl was standing. This happened 2 more times before everyone had left. What Kimberly didn't see was the boy who pulled her mother off the side on the other side of the store. His mother was starting to say something, but he held a finger to his lips and pointed at Kimberly, just as she directed another girl to stand at the counter. Oh, the mother said, and moved back against the wall. When all the other kids had left, he led his mother over to Kimberly. When she looked up at him, he made a zipping like movement. ACRO across his lips. Oh, he made like he was. Never mind. I boo-booed that. I misread it. Okay, got it right. Okay. Oh, fun stuff. Kimberly laughed, then asked, "How did you know it was me?" The first girl said, "The sunglasses, the left one's darker like your eye patch. And okay, and you, she pointed to the second girl. The second girl that she had just him. She pointed to Michael. Super Scout, where he is, you are. Then I looked at you and recognized you. Your smile, you were the only one smiling, so I did a second look. And you? She asked the last girl. First I saw the other girl standing here. I wondered why. Then I saw Super Scout, then you. Kimberly turned around and looked at the boy. Everyone was moving except you. I thought it was weird, so I stopped. Then I saw you holding your finger to your lips, and you nodded to the side. And I saw the third girl go to the counter. That's when and then the dark glass lens made it click. He said proudly at his observation. Randy, Kimberly shouted, "Can I have the long range?" Sure thing. Can I video you too? This will be a first for us. The bride and the groom, Super Scout and the Ninja. Of course, I'm shooting your wedding present to us. And Michael, the same, Michael said. Okay, kids, here are the rules. No talking, no squealing, no clapping. Michael and I are here to practice, not show off. We need to concentrate, okay? Yes, Juby, they said. Parents, yes, Juby. And it's Kimberly, she sighed. Let's go, super stud. The mothers chuckled. That scout, Michael protested. The kids laughed. Don't sell yourself short. Randy laughed and went to get his video camera. Benjamin and Monica arrived at the cabin with a dozen pallets of 50-pound sacks of various animal feed. They arrived at the same time that a local rancher was delivering a Jersey milk cow, 4 Black Angus breeding cows, and 1 9-month-old Black Angus steer, and a Jersey bull. Janet guided the rancher as he backed his trailer up to the gate of the corral and signaled for him to stop. The rancher walked back to the gate and opened it, then opened the gate on the other side. He opened the back of the trailer, and the bull came out first and went straight through the corral and out into the fenced field on the other side of the second gate. Then the steer came out and did likewise. The 4 Black Angus cows followed the bull and steer. Then the milk cow came out and sauntered into the corral, got in the middle, stopped. She turned and walked slowly over to the feed trough and sniffed around it and went to the water trough and drank. That's a milk cow for you. She knows where the good food is at. Good food is going to be at. The rancher laughed as he walked out and closing the second gate and then the first gate. Keep her here for the first couple of days till she has grazed the grass down. Feed her oats like I showed you at milking time, and when the grass is down, 1 leaf of alfalfa after every milking. Call me if you have any problems. We will. Thank you again, Nolan. Sure thing. And as he walked by, Benjamin stopped. You must be Benjamin. Nolan Buttons. You got yourself a heck of a wife there. She even impressed my Mabel. Oh, I got to get back. Have a great time with the cattle. He waved and climbed into his truck and drove off. Where'd you meet him? Monica asked before Benjamin could. Bob Miller called him for me and set us up to meet. Mabel wants to teach us how to can fruit and meat. I think they're lonely now that their boys have homes of their own. Oh. You amaze me, Benjamin. Wrapped his arms around Janet's waist and gave her a hug. Asteroid or no asteroid, this is going to be a nice little farm. Now let's get those pigs unloaded and the grain put away. It was almost 8 o'clock, and at T9 Tactics, about 30 people were waiting to be in one of the several classes being. Most of them were watching those who were still on the pistol range. Michael and Kimberly were practice shooting offhand, which for both of them was their left hand. When the horn sounded, they removed the empty magazines from their pistols pulled the slide back to verify it, to verify. Hang on, I butchered this sentence. They pulled the slide back to verify the slide was locked open, and the gun was empty. Then they held him up for inspection by the range master. Once he'd given the okay, they closed the slide, put the empty magazine back in the pistol and holstered it. Then they picked up their gun cases and headed to a classroom workbench to clean their pistols. Philip was having them clean their pistols in front of the new class to show what they had learned. Michael insisted that one of the instructors oversee them in case they did something wrong. For the next 10 minutes, they took apart cleaned ED, and reassembled their pistols. Once that was done, they quickly cleaned the table and went to look for the family from IHOP. They found him looking a bit lost in the crowd. "Hello, how'd you do today?" Michael asked. "I think we did good at Honeyville Farms. We got 3 years worth of food," he said, smiling. "Yeah, my brother said to get more, so we did. He invited us to come stay with him. There on the North Rim," she said proudly. Michael about fell over. "What's wrong? Is your brother Bob's last name Miller?" Michael asked quietly. "Yes, he runs." Shh. Michael said quickly. Michael quieted him quickly. "And in," he whispered. "Yes," she whispered back. "Don't tell anyone where you're going. No one at all. Period." "Okay, but why?" He held up his hand. "I'm not arguing. I just want to understand. Think of it this way. Do you want to pile all your food in the park and have your girls sleep on cots out in the open where anyone can come along and take what they want?" "No." He answered like it was a stupid question, and the light went on in his head and his eyes widened. "That's right. If you tell people where you're going to hide out, you might as well just do that with your daughters and food." "I didn't think about it. I thought just getting away from the city be enough." "Now, who did you tell where you're going?" Michael said. "Just the lady at Honeyville Farms." "And you?" "That was it. Just the lady at Honeyville Farms and you guys." "And who was around that might have heard you?" "No one at Honeyville Farms," the mother said, and she looked around the room. "Several people could have heard us here. That is why I shushed you. Unless they know the area up there, they won't be likely to figure it out." "Got it. I understood," they said. "Did you get clothing?" We had plenty except for what the girls will grow into, so we went to Walmart and got them several sets for the next 3 years. But I think we need more. Think about this. 7 pairs of jeans a week, washing once a week. And then they last 3 or 4 months before they start getting holes in them. How many pairs do you need? More than we have. What about iron-on patches? Those will help extend the life of the jeans. Oh yeah, make sure they are loose fit. Forget the fashion that says tight fit is sexy, because sexy means rape me. Says rape me. Loose and baggy means easy to work in, and I could be male. Kimberly said, staring hard at the mother. "Same goes for you." Walmart has regular pants in camo patterns. get some for all you, not just a couple pair for honeymoon. Marcy and Linda, at home with our oldest daughter. How many do you have? Just the three. How old is she? 17. Definitely get her loose-fitting clothing if she looks anything like you, Kimberly said. The mother blushed. Thank you, I will, but she won't like it. Guys, the classes are going to start. Which ones are you going to? I'm going to the firearms one, the mother said. I'm going to the survival guild, the father said. Good, Kimberly smiled. How full is your trailer? Michael asked as he started to walk towards the classrooms. Full. Take it to your brother-in-law's early tomorrow morning, empty it out up there, and come back for another load. Then see what the situation looks like. The father nodded. I was thinking I might have to do that. Michael chuckled. We've made several trips with several trailers to our cabin. Wow, now I'm scared. Bob will help you out. We'll talk later. After the class, the four of them met up again. Honey, I need to take classes tomorrow, and I need to take the trailer to your brother's to unload so we can get more supplies. You know, we never did get your names, Michael said. I'm Greg, and this is Lisa, our daughters. Told us who you are. Well, Greg, I would leave by 6 a.m. That would put you up there about 11:15 or so, an hour to unload, put you back here about 6 p.m. Honeyville Farm closes at 5 p.m., Linda said disappointingly. That's okay. Just get what type car do you have? A Yukon. Perfect. You just need to get a 12-foot cargo container, or better yet, rent a U-Haul and hit Sam's Clubs and Costco, as well as Honeyville again. Oh, and at Sam's Club, get lots of toilet paper, 3 years or more. It doesn't go bad. One other thing. Did you really catch 4 arrows at once? Lisa asked Kimberly. Yeah, but you should see tomorrow's demonstration. That'll knock your socks off. What time is and where is it? 7 p.m. here on the rifle range. There we go. Save. Okay, we're at almost 11 o'clock. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to even get to 15 today, so I'm just going to finish off here with 13 and get on 14 in the next hour. Michael startled awake when his dad's alarm clock went off. He rolled over and looked at his clock. 4:15, he groaned, and buried his face back in the pillow. You don't hear me grumbling that much when you get up early. This isn't early. This is late night, and I don't get up until 5:30. That's almost 2 hours from now. You can go back to sleep in a couple of minutes, Benjamin grunted as he pulled on his work boots. Pulled on his work boots. Just make sure you lock the door, or I don't need any of the neighbor girls sneaking in here before Kimberly and I go running. You're not worried about Kimberly sneaking in? No, she's mad at me. What happened? I suggested that she come out here as soon as you guys leave, and she slapped me and stormed off into the house. Good girl. Yeah, but I didn't get a chance to say I wanted her to give me the pedicure she's been teasing me about. Benjamin fell down and hit the floor laughing. It's not that funny. I was going to give in and say yes, dear, and I got slapped. You're right. I'm sorry, but you were trying to be nice. But that's the way things happen sometimes. You have to roll with it. Benjamin opened the door and stepped out. Don't be rude if she apologizes. He closed the door and chuckled to himself. They're perfect for each other. They'll make 22 months if she doesn't kill him first. He started the F-450 and while it was warming up, went in the house to get some hot chocolate. He found Monica in the kitchen fuming. Morning, what's wrong other than Kimberly slapping Michael? Benjamin chuckled. You know about that? Oh yeah, that and the rest of the story. Monica stopped and turned. What rest of the story do you mean? Remember how she's been teasing about getting a pedicure? Yes, Monica smiled. He said it would never happen. He was giving in. He was going to say yes there and let her do it when we weren't around to tease him. That's what he was going to suggest they do out in the trailer. What? Screamed Kimberly from the other room. Uh-oh. Kimberly came running into the room. What did you say? What was that you said? He was giving in and going to say yes, dear, to the pedicure. Benjamin smiled. What do you think he was going to say? Oh, shit. Kimberly stomped her foot on the floor. Shit, 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 shit. I ruined it. Damn it. Kimberly, watch your language. I don't give a flying fudgesicle about my language right now. I may have totally pushed Michael away. He was trying to be nice, and I screwed the pooch. Kimberly, Mom, I ruined everything, she ranted as she stormed back and forth across the room. He probably hates me now. I hit him. That's a major taboo. You don't hit your love ever. Benjamin reached out, grabbed her arm as she passed by and pulled her into a tight hug. Daughter, he still loves you. He's just confused. There are two ways you can fix this with him. What are those, Pops? He released her from the hug and turned her around to face him. First, you can go out there and tell him you're sorry. Tell him you thought he was asking you to have sex with him and offer to do so if that's what he wants. But second, you go out to him, tell him that you thought he was asking to have sex with him, but you now realize he was offering to have the pedicure. Tell him you're sorry that you need to make it right. Offer to let him slap you back. He won't. Turn around and bend over the table and tell him he has to spank you for being bad. He won't. Then ask him how you can make amends and do whatever he says. She looked up into Benjamin's face. Are you sure he'll forgive me? I bet he asks you to forgive him for not saying it the right way last night. Kimberly hung Benjamin. You're just like my dad. Go to him. Benjamin returned the hug and gave her a nudge towards the door. Kimberly let him go and walked off towards the door. When she had gone out, Monica said, "What if Michael accepts her offer for sex? I'll shoot him in the butt with rock salt." It was 4:30 when Monica left her house with the utility box F-350 and her trailer to go to Jake's. Benjamin was right behind her. Neither one of them heard. Hang on. I may have to come back and change that it was the utility box one because that's supposed to be Kimberly's truck. Monica arrived at Jake's place about just before 9 o'clock and parked next to the barn and disconnected the trailer. When Jake and some of her other cousins came out, she was opening the back ramp of the trailer. Jake, there are 2 bundles of plywood and enough 2x12s to make barrier boxes out of all the plywood. Get the teenagers to work. The teenagers groaned. Then she handed Jake a printout of the alternative news sites that Janice had sent them. Start monitoring them, but first get your backhoe with the lifting strap. Benjamin has 10 of those huge contractor bags of crushed rock. Here he comes now. By 10 o'clock, Monica was back on her way to Tempe, and Benjamin was headed to the Lowe's in Flagstaff. Monica was going to hit some more of the gold exchanges and go see Kimberly and Michael at T9 Tactics. They wanted they wanted her to get some range time in on the Colt 45s and the Glock 10 millimeter. Yep, looks like we got someone back in here again. Someone else, I should say. We got 5 watching now. Hey. I need to change this one here. Okay. He had stopped at the Lowe's in Flagstaff to get and all the chicken wire they had. He also got several battery-powered weed eaters and extra lines at Janet's request. Okay, I need to figure out how to word this one here right. All right. Okay. Make this past tense. Stopped a little farther north and picked up a dozen sheep in the dump trailer. There we go. All right, got that straightened out. So Benjamin was headed north to the cabin. He had stopped in Lowe's in Flagstaff to get more shelving units, foam board insulation, chicken wire, quarter inch, and half-inch hardware cloth, 4x4 posts, and all the barbed wire that he could put in the back of the F450. He also got several battery-powered weed eaters, an extra line at Janet's request. Then he stopped a little further north and picked up a dozen sheep in the dump trailer. Janet had used up most of the barbed wire fencing off a large area of their 130 acres for cows and sheep. She wanted more barbed wire to make sure they had plenty of grazing pasture to make the hay bales last longer. Besides, she thought any extra barbed wire could be used for defensive purposes. Michael and Kimberly had arrived at archery headquarters to do a lunchtime demonstration. The parking lot was full, and they had to park in back by the service entrance. Michael texted Tina that they were at the service door. Soon Tina let them in and showed them where to change. Let me get my eyes degunked. Uh, uh, Randy was talking to the throng of teens and their parents about how long Michael and Kimberly had been coming there. Someone asked if they carried the bows that Juby and Archer used. We have two Yumi Henku bows that Kimberly Juby Chan shoots, and we have several of the Onita Eagle Phoenix lever action recurve compound bows they both shoot, as well as the other bows they shoot. Tina walked up to Randy and whispered in his ear that they were ready. Okay, folks, here they are, the real-life Juby Chan, the Ninja Girl, and Archer, the Super Scout. The girls started screaming. The boys were whistling. Kimberly and Michael started walking, and when they were almost halfway there, Kimberly flipped her Yumi Henku bow from her back and rapid-fired 3 arrows into 3 targets. All 3 were bullseyes, and the crowd went wild. Then they faced the crowd and waited for them to calm down. After 20 seconds of waiting, Kimberly got annoyed, turned around, and sat down and folded her arms. It suddenly got very quiet. After several seconds of total quiet, Michael turned to her. She threw her hand up, signaling for Michael to stop talking to her. Michael pursed his lips and turned back to the crowd, took a couple steps toward him, shaking his head. Michael took a deep breath and let it out. He looked over at Randy and shrugged his shoulders. I'm sorry, Randy. Something has ticked her off. I'm not sure if we'll be doing a demonstration. We've been giving so much of our time, and the stress has been getting to us. You see, we're leaving tomorrow, and we still have so much to do. Leaving? Why? Well, things are starting to get out of hand around here. We believe things are starting to get out of hand. And CERT in certain areas around here. And we believe it'll soon be unsafe for our families to stay in the city. That's why we're leaving tomorrow. What do you mean? There's more to the asteroid than what the government or Main Street media is telling you. The gangs and criminals know this. That's why the number of robberies and muggings have tripled in the last month. That's why we're heading to the mountains of central Utah. You really think so? Yes. In fact, there was a gang that hit there. In fact, there is a gang that is hitting jewelry stores and precious metal exchanges. Soon they'll be hijacking grocery trucks and gas trucks. Why do you think the police are hiring every cop relocating from California they can? They know that crime is going to get a lot worse. If you're leaving, why is she so upset? Someone in the crowd asked. Because we have so much left to do and not much time. She feels hurt because no one is paying attention to the warning messages we give at the end of our demonstrations. You just want to see Juby Chan shoot and fight and flip. Michael hung his head and shook it. I'm sorry we were loud and didn't get quiet, Juby. A girl about 11 said as she stepped forward. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear it too. Juby, do you remember me? I was being quiet like you said to be when we were allowed to watch you and Michael practice here yesterday. Please save my family. Kimberly put her hand at shoulder height and wiggled with her index finger to have the girl come to her. The girl The girl walked forward and around in front of her. Are any of the others here today? I see two of the girls, but not the boys, she said in a quivering voice. I'm here, the boys broke from the crowd. Kimberly's finger wiggled, come here. As the boy worked his way through the crowd, the girl waved the two others that she saw to come forward. When they joined the first girl, they all knelt in front of Kimberly. Do any of you know the other girl? I do. One of the girls said. Cammie said she'd be here. Call for her. Cammie, are you here? Cammie? A voice came from the door. I'm here. I just can't get through. Michael barked. Let her through now. The crowd parted, and Cammie and his mother came forward. The mother stopped near the front where the other mothers were, and Cammie joined the others kneeling. Kimberly waved Michael over to her. See if Randy has a microphone I can use. Michael hurried over to Randy and asked him. He gave Michael the microphone he was holding in case it was needed. Michael walked back to Kimberly and gave it to her. Taking the microphone, Kimberly turned her head slightly towards the parents and motioned for them to join their children. When they were kneeling behind their children, Kimberly spoke into the microphone but addressed those in front of her. Do you remember what Michael and I told you after our practice? Yes, Juby, they said. Michael interjected loudly. Take notes, people. Parents, did you visit the websites we gave you? Two said yes. The other three lowered their eyes. No, Juby. That shows that 3/5 of the population will not save themselves when given information to do so. You two, did you read the articles we said to? Yes, Juby, they said. Did any of you do any gathering like we said to do? The boy's mother said proudly, yes, Juby. Another said, my husband said he has the stuff in his airplane hangar. Mine said not to worry, that he has everything taken care of. My husband doesn't believe it. He says the government will save us if it gets bad. But I did get some extra beans and rice and stashed it in the closet, another said quickly. The government's prediction for this type of event, got more people joining us again. Hey, the government's prediction for this type of event is 80 to 85% of the population will be dead within 1 year. Most of that will happen this winter. That doesn't sound like they are planning on saving anyone but themselves, does it? Kimberly said, and the crowd gasped and started whispering in panic. Kimberly sighed heavily into the microphone. Did any one of you sign up for martial arts, archery, or firearm training? Yes, Juby, 3 of them said. The other 2 lowered their eyes. No, Juby. Yes, Juby, all of them said. Garden seeds. Garden seeds, yes, Juby, 4 of them said. Did any of you do an inventory of how much food you have in your home? Hang on. In your home? Yes, Juby, all of them said. Good. How many of you have more than 3 months worth of food? 3 raised their hand. 6 months? 2 of them kept their hand raised, the pilot's wife and the boy's mother. 9 months, only the boy's mother only the boy's mother's raised her hand. Last name, Parker. Mrs. Parker, do you Mrs. Parker, if you have truly done everything, your family has the chance to survive the winter die off. Michael, how many years of food do you have? Kimberly asked. 7 or 8 years, the crowd gasped. Any other food sources? We have 100. We have 100 acres, several dozen fruit trees and nut trees. A we have a 2-acre wooden garden going. We will have a 2-acre winter garden going in 2 weeks. We also have chickens, rabbits, goats, sheep, pigs, and cows. Without intensive without intensively breeding them, we can extend our 8 years to 12 to 15 years or more. If we do an intensive breeding program, we should have an indefinite supply of food. We are among the 3% that should not just survive but thrive, Kimberly said. Michael, when did you and your parents go into high gear? Well, my foster mom has always had a big garden and a year's worth of here in Tempe and 9 months at our cabin. The morning after the news leak, they got 2 more years worth of dry food and 3 of toilet paper. A lot of chuckles came from the crowd. Hey, I may be an Eagle Scout and know what leaves to use, but I also believe in being prepared. We now have 12 years of TP. That gives us enough time to learn how to make more. Let me emphasize the make. To make more. Michael, pause for a second before speaking again. Randy, how many openings do you have for classes? Enough for everyone here, and you don't need to get a background check to buy a bow or crossbow or cross pistols or a pistol crossbow. And they're quiet too, Tina chimed in. Kimberly looked at the first girl who asked her to save her family and suddenly remembered her name. Nancy, you asked me to save your family. All I can do is give you the information. I can't make your parents act on it. Do you understand that? Yeah, I can't make your parents act on it. You understand that, right? She asked as she looked at Nancy's mother. But that's so much to do, Nancy's mother said. If you started yesterday, you'd be that much further along today. I see your point. She lowered her eyes. At this point, I would primarily worry about food and water storage. Why water storage? One of the parents in the crowd asked. Michael, did you hear an apology before that question? Nope. Oh, I'm sorry my daughter kept screaming when you were first ready to start, and that I didn't stop her right away. Thank you. Apology accepted. How does the water get to your house? Through pipes. How does it get into the pipes? At the treatment plant. And at your house, does it trickle out? No, it's under pressure. And it's under pressure because they pump it to my house. And when the power, and what powers the pump in the treatment plant? Electricity. And what happens when the grid goes down in several weeks? And it will. No water. He looked down, realizing he was taking too much for granted. Everyone gasped. The 21st is when the asteroid is supposed to pass. there are uh, there are believed to be a bunch of small asteroids behind it, and the Earth will pass through them. The small the small asteroids will impact the power grid, and it will be destroyed. So it'll be like the Old West, or only worse, Kimberly explained as she turned around to face the crowd. If you have a place to go away from the city with clean year off grid, with a clean year round off grid water source, you might look into going there by Friday. Some of the parents gasped at the instructions. Michael stepped forward. I don't want to know where it is, or how many of you have been hunting, how many have a hunting lodge or a shack or vacation cabin or other property that has the water source. I don't want to know where, but how many of you have a hunting lodge, shack, vacation cabin, other blah 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 blah, that has a water source and is away from the main roads or close to neighbors? Raise your hand. 7 people raised their hand, including Mrs. Parker. Michael nodded to Kimberly behind her, to look behind her. Mrs. Parker, I would say as of right now, you have the best chance if you get your supplies to that location today and keep moving more there over the next couple of days. A man in the crowd raised his hand, and Kimberly nodded to him. First, I'd like to apologize for myself and my family. I was one who kept cheering when I should have stopped. Apology accepted. I need to apologize for more. He paused. I was under the impression that you were just performers, not emergencies. I don't know about being experts. We are just a lot more informed than the above average person. Michael, what merit badges did you earn your first year in Boy Scouts? My first year, I earned 24 merit badges at scout camps, 4 at advanced camp, and 6 with my troop, for a total of 34 merit badges, including all the required ones for Eagle Scout, and of course archery, which I came back as a merit badge counselor every year. Which I came back as a merit badge counselor for every year, including this last summer. Ranks earned the first year was Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, and Star. The second year, I earned 32 merit badges, Life Scout, and Eagle Scout, and 9 Eagle Palms. I retook the rifle and shotgun badges at all change that to lowercase. There we go. At all 4 camps, Michael sighed. Now, what was your question? A couple friends of mine want to form a MAG or a CAG. I want to know what your thoughts are. That's yours, Michael. Kimberly said. A MAG is a mutual assistance group, and a CAG is a community assistance group. How well do you know these friends? How well off are they? And whereabouts were they thinking of setting up at? Private property, state or national forest or park? Michael's asked. I've known some of them for 5 years, others less than that. We are all not that well off, but we aren't struggling either. What are they talking about for a buy-in? $6,000. And what do you get for that? Have you seen the place? They don't want to let anybody know the location unless you're a member. There's a mess hall where all meals are served. Time out, Michael interrupted. Do you have to provide food storage like a year's worth? Do you get private living quarters? What's the water situation and sanitation? Yeah, they said everybody has to contribute 2 years worth of food. I haven't found out about the rest. Graciously decline and run. It has the earmarkings of a scam. If they want you to pay to join and provide food and won't let you inspect the place, sounds like trouble. And if they show pictures of the outside and that look like they were taken at different times of the year and only show one building per photo, scam. If the pictures look too neat and clean, and any window shot looks out of focus, scam. Oh yeah, I thought the pictures were a bit off. Just decline. Now, if you have family members that want to get together and they've always been trustworthy, that'd be a better plan. But hang on, emphasis on that. Boom, boom. But everyone needs to pull their weight. No free rides. No one gets to say, "Well, I planned it out, so I don't have to do such and such." Thank you very much. You just kept me from making a mistake. One quick question for everyone. Who has not seen any of our demonstrations in person or on YouTube? Raise a hand. About a quarter of the parents raised their hands. Okay, those that haven't seen this before, come up front. Tonight at T9 Tactical, we'll be doing our last and biggest demonstration, including a bit of sword work. Kimberly shot several of the stores, but is running arrow bit. They ended with Kimberly catching 6 arrows at once. Afterwards, several teens came up and apologized for not being respectful beforehand. All right, Monica was able to get all but 35,000 converted into gold and silver. She took 15,000 in $100 bills and the rest placed on her Amazon Chase credit card. She swung by the gun shop and talked to Douglas about getting extra barrels for her husband's special combat Colt and the match pair of Colt lightweight commanders she had received from Douglas's father, Martin. She said she'd also like to get an extra standard barrel for each pistol and a threaded barrel and a threaded special BARR barrel for each pistol. She also bought 5 1,000 round cases of ammunition as well. She asked Douglas if there was anything else that he would suggest they get. Douglas smiled and said that Michael had been in earlier to get an aftermarket select fire hang on, let me fix this, make it sound right. To get aftermarket select fire assemblies, for the 3 car 15s to make them like because husbands. He was able to find them and get 10 MWG Company 90 round drum magazines for the M16/AR-15 PLA platform rifles and had them all for Michael. Monica said that she would pay for them and take them to him. Douglas also gave her a box that he said was for Kimberly and Michael. Gave her a sealed box that was for Kimberly and Michael. Monica arrived at T9 Tactics at 3:30 and was surprised to see how full the parking lot was. She walked into the lobby and saw Penny rolling around the store in her wheelchair, so she went over to him. "Hello, Penny. You are where Michael and Kimberly are? Hey, Mrs. Jackson. They're over on the rifle range. Follow me." Penny led the way to the rifle range and began to chat how her dad is letting her take shooting lessons thanks to Kimberly. And her dad is even thinking about letting her take archery classes too. When they got out the rifle range, Penny spun her chair around, thanked Monica for being Kimberly's mom, and rolled off towards the offices. Okay, Monica stepped up to the glass wall that was behind the shooters. Kimberly was on one side of the range, and Michael was on the opposite side. From what they could see, they were both hitting the center of their targets way more than the other shooters. She was watching intently when a D9's tactics staffer came up to her. "Mrs. Jackson, I'm Dennis. Kimberly asked that I go over your pistols with you." "Sure thing," she said. "I need to get conversant in the Glocks and Colts." "Great, let's go to the classroom." Classroom. Monica was finishing up her range time, and Dennis was having her shoot both of the matched pairs of Colt lightweight commanders at the same time. Once she was on the range, all of the training her late husband James had given her came flooding back. She had handled the Colt 45s and Glock 29 FFs so well with the right hand that Dennis had her spend most of her time working on her left hand shooting. Now he was wrapping up this session by having her shoot both at the same time. She hit the paper target with all of her shots, but most of the left hand shots missed the silhouette of the bad guy, but the right hand were all on the silhouette and most in the center mass. Kimberly looked on with a bit of satisfaction that her mother could help defend Jake's enough to escape out the back way if needed. Then a chill ran down her back and she shivered. "What's wrong? How'd you know something was wrong? You just tensed up and shivered." "I was thinking my mom will say that she can protect herself now and I got a chill that ran down my back. We'll just have to keep working on her gently, Michael lamented, not liking the idea. I will mope and whine and lay in my bed crying every day until she agrees to leave. You know, our parents are going to tell our kids all about this and how we drove them crazy. Ugh. Uh, and they'll have them be evil to us as payback. That's what the chair in the corner is for, Kimberly said flatly. Our kids will not be allowed to sass us. What about incessant whining and moping? Hey, I'm right. You feel it too. She wrapped her arm around Michael. If our kids are right and we're wrong, then they can do all the whining and moping they want. We'll just have to check our facts and play. You'll see, and then you'll thank me later card. Not, Kimberly said, dripping with sarcasm. Just making sure, Michael chuckled. How's she doing? Dad, Michael exclaimed in surprise. You came back tonight. Yeah, Lowe's and Flagstaff had everything, and they weren't busy at all. I got loaded up and out of there in less than 30 minutes. Your mother was ecstatic with the amount of barbed wire I got for her. She said she can run 6-wire fencing around the property twice. Anyways, when we got the truck and trailer unloaded, your mother said to get down here and maybe get some range time in with an instructor. Eyes are gunking up again. I really hate the dry air, with the low humidity here. Oh, man. My eyes don't do this in the summertime. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? I don't know if I'm getting sleepy or just talking so much. I'm not breathing properly, Ryan. So, yeah, really, my eyes are just acting up because it's so dry that the eyes start to tear up a little bit, trying to moisten the eyeballs. And because it's so dry, then as my eyes blink, the tears, the liquid starts to gum up a little bit. All right. Well, they have one more class before the demonstration. Let you get you into that one, Pops. Kimberly smiled as she walked towards the main counter. Sure, little one. Benjamin sighed and followed. Michael went back to think what else that and what else that they could do to make it safer. It was almost 7 o'clock, and Michael and Kimberly were getting ready for their final demonstration before they headed for the hill, so to speak. Penny was in the room with Kimberly, and they were talking about diet, and that she read that a keto diet has been shown to help that a keto or I don't know. Okay. That And it's still taking it down there. Talking with Kimberly about diet, and that she had read that a keto or carnivore diet has been shown to help some paralysis victims heal better and even gain the use of some of their limbs. I was listening to a couple doctors on a show who were saying that as good as keto is, a carnivore diet has had better success with those that have sporadic feeling in making full recovery. Really, Penny shouted. It has something to do with the enzymes that are in meat that vegetables don't have. That and cutting out all seed oils, refined grains, and certain vegetables that contain lectins, which mess with the body's healing factors. So that kind of makes some sense. For 3 days, all I've eaten is beef, butter, cheese, milk, and look. She lifted her right leg up, then straightened out her knee out. Watch this. With the leg still straightened out, she lifted her left leg up and then straightened the knee out as well. I haven't been able to do that since before. Your ankle, Kimberly shouted. It moved. What? It moved or twitched just once, but it moved. Oh, geez, Penny exclaimed. What? The doctor said it was possible for some of my nerve connections to reconnect over time. Not all, but some. Hang on, I got to fix this here. 1, 2, 3. Fix this one. 1, 2, 3. I never thought it was actually possible. Well, don't tell your dad until tomorrow, and try it again first. Don't get him too excited. You should stay calm too. You're right. I need to make sure that I can do this for several days. And keep on your diet. All right. We got 5 people in here now. All right. Jason had showed up again, but this time he brought the 4 other karate demonstrators from the venture crew meeting who had switched dojos with him. Michael thought it was a good idea for them to go first, just like the venture crew meeting. But Jason added Juby Chan's father was Major Jackson, United States Marine Corps 4th Furcon, when she started training her when she was 4 years old, and that she was a 3rd level Jiu-Jitsu Jeet Kune Do instructor in Jiu-Jitsu Kune, and that which was the martial art that Bruce Lee developed. With that, they did everything. They did everything just like before, except when Kimberly finished throwing the shurikens and came to full view. Michael noticed that she had a katana on her back. When Michael picked up his bow and arrows, instead of 8 and 6 arrows like they talked about, there were 8 blunt tipped arrows and 8 wooden arrows with target tips on them, not the blunt tips that they'd been using. Are you sure about this? Michael said. Yep, just keep them really close together. Kimberly said loud enough for Michael to hear. Okay. Michael replied hesitantly as he walked down to his position. When he turned around, Michael saw as Kimberly was ready. He rapid fired the 8 blunt tip arrows, then looked down as he knocked the 8 target arrows. When he brought the bow up, he saw that Kimberly had shifted the katana from her back to her left hip. It stood in a stance that is only that in what could only be called a traditional samurai battle stance, with her right hand on the hilt and her left hand on the saya or the scabbard, feet apart, legs slightly bent, with at the hips and knees. He turned the bow on its side and drew the string back. When he was set, he nodded to Kimberly. Kimberly, seeing the nod, took a breath, slowly blew out, and nodded to Michael. A second later, Michael released the string, and 8 arrows flew straight at Kimberly. The second Michael released the string, and the arrows flew. As Michael released the string, Kimberly shifted her weight to her left and drew the katana in a Barulutsu or strike draw, and cut all 8 arrows in half and froze with the katana pointing straight out in line with her arm. So quick and clean was her cut that the front half of the arrows and the back half of 6 were embedded in the target behind her. A stunned silence fell over the room for seconds. Then, for several seconds, then it was broken by the roar of cheers and applause. Michael walked up. "I'll never doubt you again." "We'll see." She gave him a kiss. "But for now, let's finish this up." Jason joined them, and they gave their presentation, picking one thing and becoming good at it: getting food, water, and a place to stay. Then after the presentation, while they were signing autograph, Michael noticed one girl who appeared to be 12 or 13, but she wasn't speaking up like the others. She was getting frustrated that she couldn't get Kimberly's attention, and turned to look back at and turned to look at a woman standing back with her parents. The woman signed to the girl to sign at them. The girl turned around, and Michael shouted for everyone to stop and be quiet and quit pushing. Then he spoke as he signed to the girl. "Hello, please come here. What is your name?" The girl's face lit up and signed back, "Sam." "Hello, Sam," Kimberly said as she signed to the girl. Her face brightened even more as a smile stretched from ear to ear as she signed to Kimberly, and Michael translated for everyone else. "You give me hope. I started karate because of you and your eye. You showed me I can be strong even with extreme challenges." Kimberly began as she leaned forward and scooped Sam up into a bear hug for several seconds. Then she released her and signed to her. "That means more to me than anything I've been told tonight." And she took Sam's book and began writing in it as Michael signed to the woman to wait so he could talk to them afterwards. The woman signed back that they would wait. Kimberly, sorry, I started to tear it myself. Shoot. All right. See, Kimberly finished writing in her book Emotion to Michael to see if Sam wanted his autograph too. Sam nodded yes enthusiastically, and Kimberly handed the book to Michael. Michael read what Kimberly wrote in Sam's book, then added, I think you are the bravest person here. Stay brave. Michael Moore, a.k.a. Archer the Super Scout, and handed the book to Sam and gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Michael and Kimberly went back to signing autographs and taking pictures. There were several girls that were begging for Kimberly to take the katana out so they could see it. Finally, when two older girls bowed and asked to see it, did Kimberly relent? She told everyone to step back a few steps and get on their knees. She got some puzzled look, but when the karate demonstrators quickly knelt, the rest followed suit. Then she knelt too. Then she took the saya from her back and holding it in both hands, bowed her head to it. Then she pulled the saya slowly from the blade. As she did so, Jason quickly moved forward on his knees and held his hands out to receive the saya and bowed his head. She continued to slide the saya off the blade and into Jason's waiting hands. When Jason had the saya, he sat back on his heels and pulled his hands with the saya to his lap. As the katana cleared the saya quickly, Kimberly quickly brought up her left arm under the edge of the blade to support it. It was at this point that some of the girls realized that she was doing a ceremonial inspection of the sword. And one had the sagaciousness to bow. They all did. At that moment, someone began to hush the people in the room, and all eyes turned towards Kimberly and Jason. Kimberly looked down the blade as it rested on her forearm. Then with a flick of her wrist, the blade was in front of her, pointing away with the blade up. Another flick, and the blade was facing down. She eyed down the blade, and with a flash, the blade was pointing straight up. Just then, one of the karate demonstrators spoke softly, but in the silence of the room, it was loud enough to be heard by most. Damn, that's a Hattori Hanzo sword. A what sword? Someone in the audience asked. A Hattori Hanzo. They are legendary. I saw one in a museum that they had on loan from a private collection. They said it was bought for $70,000 20 years ago. Wow, Jason said softly. Kimberly, where did you get yours? My grandfather got it when he was stationed in Okinawa 45 years ago. He gave it to me when my father died. Another flick, and the blade was once again resting on her left arm. Jason quickly moved forward with the side and held it out to receive the katana. Kimberly placed the tip in the saya. Jason slid the saya towards the hilt. Kimberly received the saya from Jason when it was halfway on. She slid it until it was 2 inches remained exposed. My grandfather said that when he received the sword, its maker said, "If on your journey You should encounter God. God would be cut. And she snapped the blade home into the saya and bowed to it. Then she placed the saya on her back in the pocket, specially made for it, in the back of her yuwagi, or jacket. The girls thanked Kimberly for showing them the katana as they left. Kimberly in turn thanked Jason for his help. Jason thanked Kimberly for setting his sister straight about him as they stood up. That was some demonstration, Craig said as he walked up with Lisa, Linda, Marcy, and the other older girl that had even lighter blonde hair. Kimberly presumed she was the older daughter. That was some excellent shooting and sword work, Linda agreed. It was fake, the older girl muttered. Norris, Lisa snapped at her daughter. Jason, who was walking away with his little sister, was still in earshot and heard the comment, spun around and stalked straight over to her. Nora's eyes widened when she saw the anger on Jason's face, and she took a step back. Kimberly saw the eyes and the step back that Nora made and surmised that Jason was charging towards the sister and held up her hand. Jason saw the hand and immediately realized his mistake and dropped to the floor and bowed to Kimberly. Forgive my anger, master, he said softly. You are learning, Grasshopper, Kimberly said, using the nickname she had given him during their first meeting. Debbie was quickly at Jason's side and asked, Jason, you were going to hit her for calling Kimberly a fake. Yes, Debbie, I was, he said softly to her. What the crap? Just because I called her demonstration out as fake, Nora said in shock. She's not fake, Jason growled, still bowing to the floor. Grasshopper, I can deal with this, Kimberly spoke softly with a smile on her face. Yes, master, Jason said and slid back on a little and rose up. Why do you say I'm fake? Kimberly asked in a gentle voice. Come on, you really expect us to believe you can shoot like that, throw like that, throw knives like that, and are that good with a sword, not to mention breaking the wooden block? Well, how do you think I hit the targets every time? Magnets. Rare earth magnets are very strong. All you need to do is get there up close and the magnets will pull it to the target. The same with the knives and throwing stars, Nora said smugly. And catching the arrows? Well, he could have been shooting them slowly. Did they look like they were going slow? No, but that could be an optical illusion. And what about cutting the arrows in midair? They were already cut and just barely holding together. Kimberly chuckled. Really? Would you like to bet on that? What do you mean? We set up more targets. You verify there are no magnets of any kind in the targets. I throw the knives, the shurikens. You re-verify there are no magnets in the targets. And we do the same with the arrows. And cutting the arrows, you do full inspection of them before and afterwards. Then you'll see that nothing I do is fake. And you'll clean up all the manure at Michael's parents' ranch for 3 months. Nora flinched and reared back a little, but it was just enough for Kimberly to notice. Not so sure, are you? Kimberly smiled evilly. And what will you do if I prove that you're a fake? Whatever you want, Kimberly said flatly. Nora flinched again at what Kimberly said, and again Kimberly noticed. Kimberly smiled a big, evil, like, I know something you don't know type smile, and spoke. My father was Major James Jackson, United States Marine Corps, 4th Recon, 4 years old. When I was 7, I started learning Jeet Kune Do, which is the martial art Bruce Lee developed. My master is Diana Lee Inosanto, Bruce Lee's goddaughter. I am a third-level instructor of the style. I've studied under several other martial arts instructors as well. Kimberly stopped and stared hard at Nora. I am the real deal. I do not fake my art. Nora stood staring at Kimberly in surprise, her mouth partly open, not knowing what to say. She hadn't listened to Jason's introduction during the demonstration, so the information was new to her. After several seconds, she looked at her parents, who were giving her don't go there looks, and then behind them, she caught a glimpse of Michael standing off to the side, trying to suppress a laugh. Then she noticed Jason and his fellow demonstrators were obviously looking at the ceiling, the floor, out the window, anywhere but at her. What? She said loudly and looked around. What? Marcy stepped in front of her sister. You know you're going to be shoveling horse, cow, pig, sheep, and chicken poop for the next 3 months, don't you? What are you talking about? You lost as soon as you made the bet, Linda said, stepping next to her twin sister. No, Nora said softly. She can't really do all the things. Yes, she does. She sure is. There's no faking it with her. She's real. Back out while you can. She's a master. Everyone spoke at once. Kimberly stepped close to Nora and held out her hand. Shall we shake on the bet? Nora looked at the extended hand and back to Kimberly's face, then back down to the hand and back up again. Suddenly her eyes widened as she jumped back. Shit, you are for real. Yep. Kimberly said and nodded. You still want to bet? No, I'm sorry I called you fake. You do any shooting? Not really. Not really what? Pistols, rifles, shotguns, archery. I did archery 2 summers at Girls Scout camp. Any BB guns? No, some Nerf wars and airsoft 1 year. I'll come over and teach you how this winter. I can't, Nora said. I'm going to. She stopped and looked around when her mother poked her. I know. Kimberly leaned forward and whispered in her ear, your uncle's in. I'll see you there, girlfriend. Oh, Nora said with bugged eyes. Kimberly turned to Lisa and Greg, spoke softly. We'll see you at Bob's before it arrives. She winked at him and turned away. Michael stepped over to Sam and her mother. Kimberly joined them. Hang on, I screwed this up. Let me go Control F. Whoa, there's a lot of Sams in here. Let me go back up though. Oh, that's why. Hang on. Let me go back down. Yeah. So I need to go here. I need to add a space. And that takes it down to 5 results because it was picking up same and things like that didn't have a space after the M. Okay, that's what with the other parents. Yeah. OTHER. There we go. That's what threw me off. I wasn't sure how I was reading that. All right. So it's right here. All right. Benjamin and Monica spent the next 2 hours on the gun range. When they went back to the Jacksons' home, then they went back to the Jacksons' home to plan out the next day's activities. When they got there, the first thing they did was to view the NASA updates on the asteroid and the evening news. They then realized that the calm was about to come to a violent end. They they quit gotten yet, and a plan to get those first thing in the morning. All right, so it's been 3 hours. Drink water, yeah. Let's see here. Today is Thursday. Got that. I'm going to go ahead and read some through here on chapter 14, see what I can get done. Because otherwise, that's going to put me a full day behind in what I have scheduled. I'm going to have to change everything up a whole bunch. All right. Chapter 14, Abandoned, October 7th. They met for lunch back at the Jackson's home and to wait for the new owners who were supposed to arrive at 3 o'clock. Michael and Kimberly stood in the driveway, locked in an embrace and kissing little peck kisses, while Monica and Benjamin stood on the front porch talking about what was going on, what they had planned to do, and he reiterated that she and Kimberly were welcome to come to the cabin. Benjamin held up his wrist and showed Monica his watch. It had a stopwatch on it. 7.5 minutes, and they haven't said a word, he chuckled. I think that they would stand there all day if we'd let them. I think you're right. Are you going to make another trip? Depends if the general masses go crazy. Then no. If everything looks calm, we might try one more trip back tomorrow morning, then head back up as soon as we're loaded, Monica said, contemplating the situation. I hope you're able to make it. What do you need to get? Hang on here. Some more fruit trees and lumber, and some lumber and a wood burning stove for the barn. A couple of chainsaws and extra chains. And what else we might think of by then? Are you coming back down? No, not all the way. At least we might come down to Flagstaff. But this is it for the winter for as far as coming back to Tempe, Benjamin said sadly. I wish that you two would come with us today. You wish? Yeah, it's going to be hell with Michael moping until you do come. Oh, she said, acknowledging that what the kids are going to be like. She thought for a few seconds. Damn. She walked over to Michael and Kimberly. Okay, you two, I give up. I can't take it with your moping when you're separated. I'll go to the Clark's cabin. Then she pointed to the travel trailer. I hereby consider you two married. Go start your honeymoon. You have 1 hour. Then we'll go to the Clark's cabin. Kimberly broke from her embrace with Michael and threw her arms around her mother. Oh, Mom, thank you. You won't be sorry. We'll make you so proud of us. You already have made me proud of you. She squeezed her tighter. Now go enjoy each other. Kimberly looked over Mother, took Michael by the hand, and looked at Benjamin. Benjamin opened his mouth to say what he wasn't sure, but then saw their faces inside be happy. Michael smiled as Kimberly led him to the travel trailer. Benjamin stood a little in shock and waited for the two till the two had gone inside before speaking. You know, Janet's going to skin us both. Maybe, but I think she'll understand why I did it. Monica said as she walked over to her truck, signal for Benjamin to follow her. Kimberly will want Michael to ride with her, most likely. Benjamin nodded. Is there anything else you need to get today before we head up? Just a couple more items from Sam's. So I'm going to go ahead and head over there now, and hopefully they'll be back before they come out or the new owners arrive. Oh, here are the keys, just in case the new OW owners get here first. I'll make sure they're not interrupted until you get back or the new owners arrive. Thanks, Monica said, and hurried over and hang on, I'm missing something here. Why was she going over there? I know there was something she was supposed to do, and I forgot to type it in here. So let me get this figured out. Walked over to her trucks and yeah. Okay. Okay, hang on. Yeah, I just need to change that up. She didn't have to hurry over to it. She was already at the truck. That's what was confusing me, folks. As she drove away, Monica began to cry, and she hoped that Kimberly was wrong and everyone at Jake's place would be fine. Moreover, she hoped that Kimberly would forgive her for her deception in leaving her with Michael while she went to Jake's place. Janet was feeding the larger animals, and she was really starting to feel at ease with this new lifestyle. They had built 4 pole barns, and they were full of hay. Heavy-duty tarps hung down the sides of the pole barns and were secured all around. A fifth barn was shorter and had 3 walls covered with planks cut on Bob's portable sawmill. They weren't a tight fit, but they would help keep the winter weather at bay. Hang on, I need to explain that a little bit more. From the walls, using it for shelter. SHELTER. Yeah, there we go. That explains it a little bit better. The tin sheep had a lean-to alongside one of the cargo containers with thrust walls sticking out 12 feet. The pigs also had lean-tos on their cargo containers, and the space between the containers had been filled in with 8-foot-tall plank fences to keep some of the blowing snow out in the wintertime. The upper end had a gate on it with a feeding area. Sorry, I just went by. The upper end had a gate with a feeding area inside that had another gate to the pig pen itself. These kept the pigs from getting out. Michael called it a man trap, even though it was for the animals. For the animals. The chickens, rabbits, and sheep had the same thing. This was turning into a really nice homestead type farm, Janet thought as she went down to the big pen. Michael grinned in anticipation as Kimberly pulled them along towards his bedroom. As they entered the room, she turned around and took both of his hands in hers and smiled broadly as she slowly back to the bed. I'm still a virgin, so I might bleed a little, this being the first time, so don't freak out, okay? She said softly. I expect that I'll be very clumsy, also being a virgin. You'll have to tell me what is best for you, and probably to slow down and not rush it so I don't hurt you. At least that's what I read. Kimberly bust out laughing. You are special. You actually did some research on being a better lover. She pulled him to him and hugged him tightly. You know, it's sad to say, but I'm glad the asteroid came. It meant that I got to be with you. Glad that your mother said she considered us married. And Michael stopped and stepped back as a depressed expression crossed his face. What? Kimberly asked worriedly. Your mom said she considered us married, but we're not. I can't do this with you until we are married. Michael started to tear up. I'm sorry, I made myself a promise that I'd remain pure for my wedding night. Can you forgive me for not having sex with you? Kimberly broke into tears of joy as she smiled at Michael. There's nothing to forgive. You are so honorable. I really wouldn't want to force you to break your promise, nor do I want to break mine to you. She pulled him back to her and hugged him tighter yet. Let's get our parents to take us to the city clerk's office and get married, Michael said, as he pushed back and looked into her eyes. You are super hot sexy with that eye patch. You're not so bad yourself, Super Scout. Yes, let's do that. We can continue this tonight. She pulled him close and wrapped her arm around his waist and guided him to the door. I hope they don't change their minds. She removed her eye patch and put her special sunglasses back on. And they shouldn't, he reassured her. I don't think they'd want to put up with my pouting. You pout, I'll whine and cry. She laughed as they walked down the hallway, arms around each other. As they walked outside, they noticed that Monica's pickup was gone. Where'd my mom go? She says she had a couple items to get from Sam's. She said that Michael could ride with you. And thought that you wouldn't want to be away from him after your honeymoon. Oh, she said with a scrunched up face. I didn't know of anything we needed to get from there. Anything else that we need to get from there? Why don't you give her a call and ask her what she needs and tell her what we want to do, Michael suggested. Okay, Kimberly replied, although I kind of wanted to do it face to face. Do what? Benjamin asked. We couldn't do it because we aren't really married. We want to go to the city's clerk's office and get married, Michael answered. Benjamin's chest puffed up as a tear came to his eye. I'm so proud of you. I think you just earned getting married early. I will take the heat from your mother. Michael threw his arm around his adopted parents' neck and hugged him. Before he could let go, Kimberly wrapped her arms around both of them. When she finally let go, she tried to call her mom, but her mom didn't answer the phone. I'll try texting her, Kimberly said, with concern sounding in her voice. I'm sure she's fine. She's probably still driving and doesn't want to get pulled over. You're right. I'll just have her call as soon as she can. You know, Michael, Benjamin said slowly, we may have a hard road to hoe with your mother, even if you two get married. He took a deep breath and let it out. She may resent you. She may be a little resistant to you sharing a room, at least for a couple days. That was what? At least for a couple days. I will throw myself into working to prove myself to her, Kimberly said resolutely. We have to keep her hugging and kissing other displays of affection to a minimum, Michael said grimly. I don't think that might be the right road, Benjamin said, stroking his chin. What was that? I don't think it might. I don't. Let me take that out of there. I think that might be the right road, Benjamin said. Reduce the kissing somewhat. A good night kiss, a good morning kiss shows that you care, but keep it short. No tonsil tickling. At least shoulder, neck, scalp rubs at the end of the day, okay? Foot rubs are even better. Don't do anything super sappy. Do considerate things. Show her that you really care about each other and you care about her feelings. I know that I explained that I promised to remain pure for whoever I married. I know that I explained that I promised to remain pure for whoever I married. I just hope she understands that we got married without her here because I didn't know when we or if we could find someone to marry us in 22 months. And we didn't want to give in to temptation and have sex out of wedlock, Michael stated. I'll say I agreed with Monica and you needed to get married now. Thanks, Dad. Just then, Kimberly's cell phone buzzed, indicating she had a text message. She pulled it out and opened the message. As she started reading the phone, she stared at the phone for several seconds, then cried out, "No, Mom, no, no, Mom, no." She turned and collapsed into Michael's arms, crying. She left me. She went to Jake's without me. She showed Michael and Benjamin a text message as she cried. Baby, I love you very much and hope you can forgive me. I want you to go to Michael's parents' cabin and get married and have lots of kids. I'm going to go to Jake's. If things get as bad as you believe you will, then I will leave and head to you. I have the radio for emergencies and will call you later tonight when I'm settled in. Please don't be mad to me. I had to trick you to going to his room so I could gather strength to set you free. Be your father's daughter and stick with Michael forever. Love, Mom. I didn't know she was going to do this, Benjamin said softly. We can go after her right now if you want. Kimberly looked quickly into Benjamin's eyes and saw the sincerity behind them. She started to say yes, but looked beyond him to the fully loaded F-450 pickup truck, and the travel trailer. Then she looked at Michael and back to Benjamin. No, not now, she gulped, a breath still crying. We should go to your cabin and drop off the supplies. She gulped another breath. We can't risk losing them. We can take the Jeep from the cabin and go after her, Michael added quickly. Kimberly shook her head yes, the tears fogging the inside of her sunglasses. I should have realized when she gave me the keys in case the new owners beat her back. I'm sorry I didn't. It's not your fault. It sounded right at first. Kimberly choked out. Crap. She locked us here for a couple hours. Well, we'll just have to leave as soon as they get here. Is there anything else we need to load up? No, everything's out of the house. They waited for an hour and a half before the new owners finally arrived. They handed him the keys, gave him the code to the side door to the garage, and left to go to the cabin. The prisoner was able to calculate where they had taken him from the last place they had him. He guessed they were in one of the higher mountain passes that had been cleared out years before and never revisited to make sure it was still clear of terrorists. Depending on how high the floodwaters came, they might not be high enough in elevation in the mountains. He would have to put into play his plans to escape as the date of the comet's arrival drew near. Sorry. Drew near. He already had increased his secret exercise program, and now he stepped it up some more. From what he overheard from the conversation, he had about 2 weeks until the comet's arrival. Benjamin, Michael, and Kimberly pulled up to the cabin, and Janet came out to greet them. She stopped short, and a smile dropped from her face when she saw Kimberly's truck with Michael driving it, with Kimberly sitting next to Michael with her head resting on his shoulder. She couldn't tell. When Benjamin parked the F-450, when he put the F-450 in park, he quickly opened the door, jumped out, and hurried over to Janet, who was starting to fume. And he explained to her what had happened. And he explained what had happened to her. No, I want to change that. He explained to her what had happened. Okay. Michael could tell her mood as her facial expressions changed as Ben progressed the story. Hang on, I'm going to add more stuff to it. Kimberly. So hang on. Well, I got 1 out of 3 letters right on that one. Come on. So she'd come to the cabin. Michael could tell her mood as her facial expressions changed as Benjamin progressed the story. Janet started to object when Benjamin wrapped her up in his arms and whispered something in her ear. She nodded and kissed his neck. Hey, you, we're here. He kissed Kim Kimberly's forehead and gently tilted her head up so he could see her face. We're home. Yes, we're at our cabin. Cabin? She asked in surprise as she came fully awake. Oh, Michael, I was dreaming. I was sitting on my dad's lap coming home from camping. She leaned forward and gave him a quick kiss. As the clerk slowly walked around to the F-350 and around to the passenger side door, Michael reached up and stroked Kimberly's jet black hair out of her eyes. I'm sorry to wake you from a nice dream, Michael said, but we're here at the cabin now, and we need to get a good night's sleep before we go get your mom. Ugh. Kimberly sat up straight and rolled her shoulders to get the kinks out. We'll need to get the truck and trailer unloaded first. No, Michael shook his head. We can do that when we get back with your mom. Your parents may need to use the truck or trailer tomorrow. They're not planning on going anywhere. Besides, we have your pickup. Ignore. You have your pickup here. We have your pickup here and their van. Not going anywhere that you know of, she pouted that she was losing the argument. Benjamin opened the door. Come on out and let's get inside for some food. You can argue about the other stuff afterwards. You heard us, no, but we could see heads shaking and the looks on your faces. Michael was winning, wasn't he? Benjamin noted as Michael hopped out the driver's side of Kimberly's F-350. Yeah, but I still say we should unload tonight. Oh, geez, what just happened? Boy, that just jumped all over. Okay, that was weird. We can unload in the morning. Janet stepped forward and held out her hands to Kimberly. We can unload in the morning when we feel fresh, but for now, food is waiting. Okay, your house, your rules, Kimberly said as she took Janet's hands and slid it from the F-350. Janet pulled Kimberly to her as soon as her feet touched the driveway and hugged her. I believe your mother thought she was doing the best thing for her. Sometimes we mothers make mistakes. There is such thing as love at first sight. She released the hug and took her hands out again and took her hands again. Or in the case of you two, finally, love at finally talking after years of looking. Kimberly cracked a smile and gave a little chuckle. Thank you, Mrs. Clark. I'll have none of that. It's Janet or Mom number 2. How about Mama? Kimberly asked after a moment. That'll do. Janet choked out as tears came to her eyes. That'll do just wonderfully, daughter. She hugged her again. Michael swept in and wrapped his arms around both of them, hugged them tightly. I love you, Mom. This is sweet, but no, as sweet as this is, I want some of the peach cobbler, Benjamin said with a smile. Peach cobbler, Kimberly exclaimed as she reared back, breaking free from the hugs. What are we doing out here in the cold? Let's grab your gear and we'll go inside, Michael said as he moved to open the truck's doors. Open the truck's back doors. Kimberly grabbed her bow and gun case. Michael grabbed her backpack, and Janet got her day pack with her laptop. Benjamin closed the doors and chuckled to himself. Okay, 15. We're going to stop here at the beginning of 15, and I got to go through and edit the scheduled lives coming up and change titles of everything around and get it to match up with what's going to go forward from here on out. All right. So tonight for the midnight ride, it's going to start at least a half hour late except if by some miracle everybody at City Hall meeting tonight goes, okay, yes, you're right, we need to raise the rate, and they settle on it on an amount quickly tonight. So I got the live stream for tonight already scheduled for 10:30 Eastern time. if you go and click on it and click notify me, if I started early, you should get an email notification or a pop-up notification that it's starting early. Or you can just open it up and just keep it open on the background of your computer and see what happens if I come in get early or not. If things go really, really wild there at the city council meeting, I could see me being another 15 or 20 minutes late after that. But I will be going live tonight, all right? And then tomorrow morning, we will pick up here with chapter 15 and 16. And then tomorrow night's live stream on Camp Patton Family Compound is Friday the 13th. Do the unexpected. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.